Good evening. Cognitive empathy or perspective taking is the act of putting yourself into somebody else's shoes and trying to understand how they feel or how they would react or what they would say or what they would do to a certain situation, and that is cognitive empathy. And it comes in very useful when you're in a leadership position, when you're a team lead and you have people under you and you give an instruction or a command, and when people take on that command, sometimes you may be fooled into thinking that they may just understand your motives for giving them that command. Many a time they don't understand your motives. They just do it because you're the boss, you're the leader, so they follow your instructions, and it may happen that they resent what you have said and they will hold a grudge against you, or they will take revenge or do something to take a countermeasure against what you've asked them to do if they don't like it. So if you have this trait of cognitive empathy or perspective taking, then you would, when you give an instruction, you would be able to go into the mind of the person you've given instruction to and try to understand how they would feel. So argue their case for them. When you tell them something to do, argue their case for them. You go into their bodies and try to argue their case for them and think about what they would do so that you'll be better prepared for any countermeasure or any revenge or any resentment they would have, and you would be in a better place to react to such a situation. So let's see what happens here in the parable told by Jesus in the Gospel according to Luke chapter 16 verses 1 to 8. Jesus said to his disciples, "There was a rich man, and he had a steward who was denounced to him for being wasteful with his property. He called for the man and said, 'What is this I hear about you? Draw me up an account of your stewardship, because you are not to be my steward any longer.' Then the steward said to himself, 'Now that my master is taking the stewardship from me, what am I going to do? Dig? I'm not strong enough. Go begging? I should be too ashamed. I know what I will do to make sure that when I'm dismissed from office, there will be someone to welcome me into their homes.' Then he called his master's debtors one by one. To the first one he said, 'How much do you owe my master?' 100 measures of oil,' was the reply. The steward said, 'Here, take your bond, sit down straight away and write 50. To another he said, 'And you, sir, how much do you owe?' 100 measures of wheat,' was the reply. The steward said, 'Here, take your bond and write 80. The master praised the dishonest steward for his astuteness, for the children of this world are more astute in the dealing with their own kind than are the children of the light.'" The Gospel of the Lord. So we see that the master praised the steward's astuteness because of his cunning. So what we should do as leaders is expect the countermeasure that those below us will take, or those as a leader. You can't just force people to do things. There are circumstances for every force for every action there's a counter reaction. So for every action there is a counter reaction, and you have to be prepared for it by having cognitive empathy. So this is something that I learned, and I think it's very, very useful in our daily lives. Good evening.